Hello there. So another week. Today is Monday 28th of September. As I said at the end of last week's vlog, I wasn't on the run today. The van was due its first service, so it's booked in this morning. Yeah, but a bit more than that. So what I'm going to start doing now going forward, I've got a fuel card, a Shell fuel card through UK Fuels. So I'm just going to, at the start of each weekly vlog, mention my fuel price. So I'm interested to know anyone else who's got a fuel card, what you're paying, who it's with. So my Shell fuel card, I can use it in obviously Shell. I can also use it in Esso and Texaco, and I think Gulf, but I mainly use Shell, Esso, Texaco. So yeah, please put down below what you've been paying. So it's 95.17 pence per litre starting today, and that works out with VAT 114.2 or something. Which is a bit cheaper than what you see on the forecourts typically, but not always. But with that, if the forecourt price is cheaper, I just pay the forecourt price, which is quite, so when I spot somewhere cheaper, I'll normally think about stopping. Yeah, so van was due its first service today, 25,000 miles. The van's actually done 26, but I'm sure they give you a bit of leeway. So I've had the van 7 months. It was pre-registered, so the van's, yeah, it was registered end of October last year, but by the dealer, and it was just sat with a dealer for quite a while before I bought it. So it had 11 miles on the clock. It's now on just over 26. But obviously within that, I did a lot of multi-drop for 16 weeks, which is like 4 months really, isn't it? So I've done probably more multi-drop in this van, time-wise, than being on the CX, working the CX. So yeah, 26,000 miles in 7 months, but I reckon, you know, when I was doing multi-drop, it'd be a lot less. My mileage, I was doing like 80-90 miles a day when I was at Yodel, but that was 6 days a week. And then the food deliveries for the government was 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, probably 100 to 120 average. Yeah, so anyway, service, I thought I'd share a few points from the service. So I did phone Renault up and I got them to price the servicing through, give me a price for the servicing I need every 24,000 miles or 25,000 miles through to the end of the warranty at 100,000 miles. Obviously you have to have it serviced to maintain a warranty. So for the first service, which is just basically an oil change with obviously the oil filter and a pollen filter, and then a multi-point check as they call it, you know, which a very basic check looking at it. Renault wanted £209 including the VAT. I looked obviously, well, not obviously, but I looked for cheaper alternatives. I looked for Renault specialists in the West Midlands. Found two. One, which I ended up using eventually, RS 4 Ashes Ltd. Used to be called Renault Specialist 4 Ashes, but I think by looks of it, they've changed their name. Because they're not allowed to have Renault Specialist in the name, maybe, I don't know. So I ended up using them in the end. Really good company, really good feedback online, really happy with the work they've done today and the price. I would say it's quite hard to get hold of them. They never answer the phone, and it was all booked in via text, which is a bit tedious, but yeah, the actual quality of the work I think is pretty good. So yep, that was 129 instead of 209, so 80 quid cheaper, which is, you know, it's at least 40% off, isn't it? Something like that. So over the course of the van, if I got the van serviced by Renault up until 100,000 miles, just for the service cost would have been £1.5 grand. So hopefully with these it'll be more around the grand mark, and I'll be quite happy with that. So yeah, that's the thing. Did the multi-point check. So anything of interest on here to me might be of interest to you. Obviously, one of the major running costs, or not really a major running cost, but one of the obvious ones, is tyres. So this has got a full-size spare, which has got 8.1mm, call it 8mm of tread. So both fronts on about 5mm. So they've worn about 3mm in 3mm in 25,000 miles, call it. And the legal limit I think is 1.8mm. So if I take them down to 2, hopefully I should get, in theory, another 25,000 miles out. So it shouldn't need a front set of tyres until 50,000 miles. So doing motorway miles, I think it's pretty easy on the tyres. when I was doing multi-drop, it would have been a lot harder on the tyres. You know, stop start, twisty rounded houses and stuff. You're going to wear the tyres more. And the van wasn't that heavily laden. The rears are on 6.5 and 6.8, so yeah, they've worn just over 1 mil in 25. So if I'm getting rid of the van at 100 to 125,000, hopefully them rear tyres, if I don't get a puncture, of course, should last me. I shouldn't ever have to replace the rears, and maybe replace the fronts twice. So maybe I'll have to change the tyres. I have to pay for 4 tyres. Obviously these are the original tyres. New vans come with obviously premium rubber, good rubber, so these are Goodyear something cargo tyres, obviously one of the better brands. And when I used to work as a maintenance engineer in a laundry, and we used to maintain the factory, but we did used to service the vans. We used to leave the trucks to somebody else because you have to. When we maintained the vans and replaced tyres on the vans, we always used to find if you put something cheap on, budget, it lasts, maybe we'd get like 20,000 miles on the bigger vans, whereas if you get more of a premium brand, you can quite often get double that, so it actually works out better. So when I do replace these, I'll probably replace them with the same. One bit of bad news from, they took a photo of it for me. I've got an oil leak, so I've had to book it in with the main dealer to be repaired under warranty. Hopefully they don't get arsy about me using somebody else, but it's quite my rights who I get serviced by, as long as it's serviced as per Renault's spec, and they've used genuine parts and done everything as Renault should have done. So basically I've got an oil leak. You can see kind of here, this is the cam chain cover, or the timing chain cover, and the bottom, so that's your crank pulley. This is your drive belt, driving all your alternator and stuff. So it looks like, well, they reckon I got a leak between there. That's the engine block, and that's the cover for the timing chain. You can see the oil here, around here, but it's kind of going up here, so I'm wondering if it's actually coming from the crankshaft oil seal on that cover for that pulley. So I've had to book it in for Renault, so it's going in 2 weeks today. It's only a very slight leak. I have had to put oil in this, maybe after the first 5,000 miles, I noticed it started to use a bit of oil. Every now and then it needs topping up. I'd say it's using maybe half a litre every 10,000 miles or something, so it's obviously needs sorting. Renault should do it. Like I say, hopefully don't get awkward, because I've had it serviced by somebody else. And it has been in this van, it's getting long already, for an AdBlue fault at 8,000 miles. And by that time it was using oil, and I told them, and they said, oh yeah, we'll update the ECU and blah blah blah, and that should sort it. They thought it was burning oil, but you know, by that point they should have been able to spot this, the Renault dealer. So that's a bit disappointing really. But yeah, that's I thought I'd share, no on the run update today, but I thought I'd share this with you, because it's obviously vehicle maintenance and running costs is all part of it. So I haven't got anything booked in as yet for tomorrow morning, so I'll be back on the run tomorrow, bidding on a few jobs, picking up tomorrow, but not got anything. So looks like I'll just be logging on in the morning, trying to get my first job. So yeah, that's sort of Monday's, not on the run, but Monday vehicle update done. Oh, hello there. Yeah, so it's Tuesday now. Tuesday afternoon, mid-afternoon, 10 minutes past 3. So back on the run today. Got on the CX about 20 past 9. That's when I logged in, started looking at what jobs on there, started bidding. When I did, there was a few jobs on there, so the feed is always a good sign, because if it's slow, jobs will sell and your feed never really builds up. And I think it was like 7 jobs on there when I went in. There's quite a lot of jobs local to me as well, so I got quite a few bids out there. Yeah, didn't win a few jobs, but then after, I think it was 25 minutes, I won a job. It sounded a medium wheelbase job, going from a mile from where I was, a mile from home, to the West Midlands, down to Bridgewater, which is where I am now, in Somerset, as they say, you are and all that. yeah, and like I say, it's down as a medium wheelbase job. So what I normally do on them is, because my van's longer than a short wheelbase job, but it's not very tall, I'll put in there max, in the notes, max I can carry is 1.3 meters in height, max load and carry is a ton, 1,000 kilograms. Yeah, and the guy rang me to give me it, asked me if I was still available, blah blah blah. And I just confirmed with him. I says definitely not higher than 1.3 meters. He says no, it's one pallet, it's 1.1 meters high, and it's 300 kilograms. Great. Send the job over, get the job sent over, and first day working a week, clearly hadn't woken up properly because it was 9:45. Job wasn't picking up, or pick up between 11 and 12. So I was like, bugger. Missed that one, but decent job. Priced it at 75 pence a mile. It was 93 quid, was 75 pence a mile. So I had some time to kill, went down the road to the jet wash, gave the van a clean because it wasn't all that dirty, but I thought I might as well use the time. It's nice and clean now. And I got there about 10:30 thinking, I said to the guy, I'm early, I'm half an hour early, but I just thought I'd turn up early just in case it's ready. He says, sorry mate, it's not ready. I still need to get the paperwork phoned through, blah blah blah. So yeah, I sat in a van for half hour. He came around to my van at 11 o'clock with the paperwork. And he says, oh, it's actually 2 pallets mate, not 1. I was like, alright, whatever, I'll still get them on. And he had 2 separate pieces of paperwork for each pallet. I thought, okay. But then there was like a 20-minute wait for some reason for the storeman. It's like a big warehouse. And it was a load of radiators, house radiators, just normal domestic radiators. From a warehouse to down here in Bridgewater to like a where all the tradespeople get all their stuff from. It's one of their sort of distribution depots for this local area, I think. Yeah, so wait for 20 minutes, and then he brings the first pallet over, and it's a massive pallet. It's obviously a standard pallet, UK pallet is 1 meter by 1.2. This was 1.2 by 1.9 because they're quite long radiators. I was like, right, okay mate, is the other one like that? Because I'm not going to get 2 on that size. Struggled to get a standard pallet on next to that one. He says, oh, the smaller radiators, I think it's a smaller pallet. Goes and gets it. It's the same one again, 1.9 meters. So I says, well, if you're going to get both of these in a van, you need a 4 meter van. So ring the shipper, and he's like, yeah, they're trying to give you too much, mate. It's only been booked in for one of them orders. So I gave him the order numbers, and he says, yeah, you're taking this one, you're not taking that one. Tell him that's what you're here to take, that's what's been booked. Blah, blah. So tell the guy, and I think, to be honest, reading between lines, I'm wondering if this guy or this company were trying to pull a bit of a fast one. So he said to me, he goes, oh, when the guy turned up for them yesterday, he was in a truck. Sure you're not supposed to be in a bigger vehicle? And I was like, well, I don't think so. He says, why weren't they taken yesterday? And he says, oh, our system was down so we couldn't take them. Might have just been a genuine mistake, but I did get the inkling this company, this guy might have been trying to pull a fast one, you know, trying to send more stuff on a smaller booking, maybe hoping the bigger van would turn up. Can't tell, can you? Yeah, so I just took the one big pallet, obviously strapped it on straight down here. Really easy job driving wise, 2 hours drive straight down the M5. Tipped really easy. So it took, obviously I was half an hour early, so I can't really count that. And then it was 45 minutes, so it was like 11:45 I got away from there, which is longer than half hour, but down this end it was like 10 minutes. So really you're looking at half an hour. I kind of include half an hour either end, so this side was a lot quicker and that side was slightly over, so normally it's quicker than that. It's annoying when it isn't, but you just kind of have to accept it. 2 hours drive, so yeah, if I take it from 11 to things like 4.5 hour job, not including me cocking up and taking a job which was pick up later in the day. So it doesn't, 93 quid, so it doesn't work out very well pounds per hour, around the £20 mark instead of 25 minimum that I aim for, but 75 pence a mile worked out there. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one really. Where I picked up from is like a warehouse, and it looks like an importer's warehouse. While I was there, Truck turned up with a big 40-foot container on the back. The place was like, you know, these massive shelves, seemed to be like 20 meters high, with pallets and pallets of stuff on, and big boxes of what looked like furniture, garden furniture and stuff. So like an importer's warehouse. Yeah, so that was that job. So I'm in down here now in Somerset. Bit slow down here, but hopefully get something else today. But I don't know. If not, I'll just have to trundle back to Bristol and pick something up in the morning. But obviously, really, I need another job at least today. But it's kind of like I started late. I booked a job in. That was for pick up later in the day. It's kind of my fault today. I'm on a bit of a crap day, but it's all. Can't blame anyone else at the moment, really. So yeah, that's Tuesday so far. Right, so it's still Tuesday night now, so just before 9:30. Yeah, so I sat in that place in Somerset. Sat there for a little while. Obviously, I really want to get another job. So I was only on 93. That first job paid me, even though it was 75 pence a mile. Still only 93 quid. And eventually I got a job. It's a small van job. It was about 10 miles back down the M5 heading towards Bristol and then dropping off in Bristol. And it was picking up from like an off-road ATV kind of centre, and it was picking up a parcel or a package on behalf, I'll say the company this time, might as well, on behalf of FedEx. That's what it said in the notes, on behalf of FedEx, dropping off at the FedEx depot. So get there, just pull up, get out the van, looking for somebody to speak to, find out what I'm doing, what I'm picking up. And as I'm doing that, FedEx van pulls in. I think this is a bit odd. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's been there before. Walks into this little workshopy bit, picks up a parcel, chucks it in his van, drives off. I thought, I bet that's what I'm here for. So I eventually speak to the guy and says, yeah, that guy just took it. What are you on about? So I phoned a shipper, and the job was cancelled. It took me 15 minutes to get there. It was like 8 miles down the M5. So I normally charge 25, and I said to him, I just short with a small van job, so I just call it 20 quid. I offered him, maybe I should have just left it at 25, maybe it's too nice, but anyway, I got 20 quid for probably half an hour all in and 8 miles. But then I was still looking for another job, so then I pulled up outside. Thought that might be it for the day, so that's 20 plus 93, 113. Still a bit low for a day, obviously. Like I say, I try and do 200 when I'm out tramping. That's my target. Eventually I got a job pinned up. Pickup was 20 miles, just off the M5 again, but like Bristol. So it was like 20 miles to Bristol. And it was a 45-mile job over to Penarth, Cardiff area. So yeah, I got that, but I went in at 30 quid, so that does work out just at 65, 66, 67 pence a mile just loaded, but I had 20 miles to get there. But because I'd earned 20 quid, £20 for doing 8 miles on that previous cancelled job, it kind of worked out. And the extra 30 quid, I really want to get it. Just 143 sounds a lot better than 113 quid for the day. Yeah, and that was just picking up, it said samples, 2 samples or something, from one residential address in Bristol. That's because Bristol to Penarth, another residential address. Said 2 samples. They were just 2 plastic briefcases, I suppose they're best described as. Really rugged, tough looking things, and they had combination locks on. So I wonder what's in them, but no idea really. So yeah, dropped that off, pretty simple. So yeah, I kind of finished about 8 o'clock. More fried rice. Seem to be eating a lot of fried rice these days. And a few jobs have pinged up here. There's one for the morning, Cardiff to Hull, short wheelbase job. I thought I really want that job, so I'm not going to go in 75p a mile. I went in 72.5, didn't get it. And then while I was in the Chinese, I came out and looked, and the job had pinged up going to NR10. So I thought that's going to, and it was the same shipper, these COVID samples that go to the lab, NR10, the other side of Norwich. That's obviously a long cross-country one, so I priced it 65p a mile. But as I did it, pretty much I think I was slightly too late to be considered. Not that I would have got it anyway, necessarily. So yeah, that one slipped through the net. I That would have been a late night, but it made a good earnings day. So now I'm in Penarth, 9:30 now, and it's 14 degrees C outside, so it's quite a mild one. So I don't think it's going to get too chilly tonight. So I'm going to set the van up here and then move on and find somewhere to park and stop for the night. So that's the plan for today, and then tomorrow it's too late to... I'm kind of like the wrong end of Cardiff. I'm just going to stop around here for the night and chance it in the morning. Try and get up R6, be on the CX, try and get an early job. Yeah, because I'm doing a 4-day week and not the best of days today, but yep, hopefully tomorrow have a good day. But before I do, just to be consistent, I am in the homeland. I'm back in Wales, South Wales. So I'm from the North Wales, obviously, as I said. So I've got to do Welsh word of the day. So I'm going to do a real simple one, real quick one. Today's Welsh word of the day is araf, which I can spell this one on the screen because if you read it in English, you'll say it right because it's really simple. Araf, A-R-A-F. I'm sure you've all seen this on the roads and on signs. I'm sure you know what it is already. Of course, it means slow, quite simply. Kind of quite apt for today because I've not really been on the ball today. I think I'm still in weekend mode, and obviously ballsed up that job this morning which was late pickup for an ideal, and then that other job kind of went wrong. It's just been one of them kind of slow, slightly tedious, kind of not tedious, trying days. So that's my Welsh word of today, araf, slow. Hello there. Yellow hands with the street lighting. Yeah, so Wednesday evening, Wednesday night now, so it's probably it's gone 8 o'clock. I know that much. Not the best day, sadly, in terms of jobs or takings, but quite an interesting day. So yeah, I tramped in Penarth last night, not far from a promenade and a pier. I thought I might check out the pier in the morning if I got up early enough, but when I woke up it was pissing it down outside, so I didn't bother with that. Quite a nice area of Penarth, real posh looking houses around there. Yeah, so got up from there, backed away, went to a Tesco down the road, got my meal deal for the day, sat there until about 9, bidding on a few jobs. We had a few jobs pinging up in Cardiff Way and Bridgend. Didn't pick anything up, didn't win anything, so I thought, right, I'm going to trundle slowly towards Newport, past Newport, just past Newport on the M54. There's some services, and from there you're in reach of like Avonmouth and Bristol, that side of Bristol, and you can still go back to Cardiff, and you got Newport and Cwmbran. So I thought I'll perch myself there, see if I can get some. Yeah, and then I hadn't been there long. I just went in and got a coffee, and by the time I'd done that and come out, I had a call back about a job, which I bid obviously. So I won that. That was a short wheelbase job from Avonmouth up to Liverpool. So I priced it, including getting there, even though it was a short wheelbase job. I was kind of struggling. I thought I might struggle to get out of there, so I priced it at 68 pence, including getting there, which was £134. Easy enough to get there, picking up from like an importer's warehousey type place again, or that kind of place, you know. And all it was quite an interesting load actually. It was a rope ladder, a rope safety ladder for a ship, like a commercial ship. So I think it's one of them ones, you know, they got man overboard, they chuck it overboard, obviously attach one side to the ship first, chuck it overboard for them to get out. So yeah, came on a pallet, easy enough to strap down, no weight to it at all. And I had a bit of paperwork to give to them, like the safety certificate, conformity certificate for it, because it's obviously safety gear. Simple enough drive up here to get to Liverpool, very little traffic, a little bit on the where the M5 joins the M6, which is pretty normal really. And I got to the docks, Liverpool docks. It was in Bootle, in the docks itself, about just before 3 o'clock. So I got the job about 20 to 11. Got to Bootle just before 3 o'clock. And the guy in the security guy in the gate didn't really know much about this ship. He goes, oh, I think it's that one over there, blah, blah, blah. Go here, go there. Couldn't find a ship anywhere. Asked one guy, he goes, oh yeah, mate, you want to go right down the far end? So I went right down the far end. I couldn't see any ships other than like ferries and stuff. So I went back to where I saw this guy in an office. Well, I phoned a contact actually, and he just says, yeah, you just come to the car park, mate, we'll meet you there. And then he hung up. So anyway, I spoke to another guy, which I thought was the office he was on about, in the staff car park. And he's like, no, it's not here, but I'll help you. So what's the ship called? And I went into his office with him. Really nice chap, really went out of his way. He got up some website called shiplocator.com or something. So any international ship, you can shows exactly where they are by GPS. So if you know their name, you bang it in there, and he goes, got it up on a map, and you can see which dock it was in Liverpool. And he says, yeah, it's at the EMR metal recycling place just down the road, mate. And he told me where it was. So I went down there, yeah, and it's one of these big EMR, which apparently is European metal recyclers. And that's where, you know, like if you take your scrap metal to a scrapyard and then they all take it somewhere, a lot of, like, I know in North Wales, they all take it to Liverpool. So this is that place. And just mountains of scrap metal, shredded metal. So yeah, I went to the goods in sort of place, trucks galore, obviously, as you can imagine. No cars, very few cars, just loads and loads of trucks. And he says, yeah, you only told me where to go and we'll park up. And he says, right, I'll go and get a forklift, meet you there. And then he comes over and goes, right, I'll unload this, but obviously it's for the ship, so you need to take the paperwork to the ship. So walk between them two massive piles of scrap, we're like 10 metres tall, 30 foot tall, yeah. And you know, this place, I was looking at it, I think this place is like puncture central, possibly. So I was a bit careful when I was driving the van in and out, making sure I didn't drive over anything, too much scrap. Yeah, so I had to go on a ship, little gangway thing, walked up. Says, all right, mate, I'm here to deliver something. And look at it, the ship's captain was right there at the back at the stern where this gangway was, fishing off the side of the boat. And he's like, oh yeah, come in. He took us into the ship. This is like not a massive ship, but you know, proper commercial ship. Went into like the living quarters and all that stuff, into his office, the captain's office. Did the paperwork there. And he had a proper stamp with the ship's name on it, like a rubber stamp with a pad of it, an ink pad. Never had that before. Stamped all my paperwork, so that looks proper official, doesn't it? So I can't say I didn't deliver it. Yeah, so that was quite an interesting load, quite an interesting drop. It just took quite a while. It probably took 45 minutes in the end. And as I was driving up there, the phone was pinging loads, so I was thinking, oh good, there's plenty of jobs coming out. And then as soon as I finished, like 3:45, I had my lunch, obviously a late lunch. Yeah, it just gone really quiet. And there was some jobs pinging up, but not a lot. And I didn't get anything else, so it was that one job for 134 quid for the day. It's obviously a disappointing day. So yeah, I've sat around Bootle for a long time. Been to go outdoors and had a bit of a mooch around there, just something to do really. Just had something from the chippy. Yeah, that's Wednesday. Then a bit of a disappointing day. Nothing booked in for tomorrow. This is the thing when you're on a bit of a crap day earnings wise, I find. And jobs start coming through the next morning. You think that'll be a good job for the morning, but if I do that, I've nailed my foot to the floor. I've got to be here. So then if a better job comes up, good distance job comes up today for the rest of today, can't take it. So I left it till 5, didn't get anything, and I've been bidding on jobs, a few jobs that come through for tomorrow. But yeah, I haven't got any of them either. So yeah, that's Wednesday. A bit disappointed, but like I said, Monday off, and yesterday wasn't great earnings wise, and today wasn't either. It's just not happening so far this week. So hopefully a better day tomorrow. Alright, Thursday afternoon now, 20 to 4, so much better start to today. So I was in sort of Bootle area, decent night's sleep again, actually finding that bed really comfortable. Yeah, I was thinking about going for a run early in the morning, but again it was bloody raining. Forecast wasn't for rain, but it did rain. And then, yeah, I was kind of in Bootle, but Bootle's a bit of a funny one. It's like just north of Liverpool itself, and it's kind of, you'd have to drive through town and a lot of crappier roads to get to sort of other places. So I thought I'd go to a motorway intersection to the east of Liverpool, so from there I could go back into Liverpool within half an hour and also get further afield to like Runcorn and Warrington and maybe even Wigan to pick up jobs. And I'd literally just set off there and I noticed one ping up, so I stopped. It was picking up in Liverpool, short wheelbase job. And at that time it was 20 to 9. It's pick up before 10 past 9. And that's how you know if it's pick up within half an hour, you know it's a proper urgent job. So I pulled over, it didn't say e-quotes only, so I rang the guy, made him a quote, which I think was 157, which was 75p a mile, short wheelbase job. I was only 3 miles from it, 10 minutes, so I told him, yeah, I'm 10 minutes away, gave him a price, and he says, I'll speak to the customer and get back to you. So then it's one of them, you know. So I was waiting at the side of the road, and then sure enough, a job came through, confirmation, and the guy rings me and says, this job, it's a line, I've never had this before, but it can always happen, of course. This job's actually a line stopper, so can you do us a favour and not spare the horses on the way down? So I was like, yeah, right, fair enough. So obviously line stopper means production line stopper. Picking up from some industrial estate, just a medium-sized unit, and it was two UK pallets worth of yoghurt pots, raspberry yoghurt pots. I think this place is like a printers, they print yoghurt pots with all the obviously branding. 36,500 yoghurt pots, so €2 pallets, only just fitted in a van. I'd say they're about 1.2 meters tall, mine's like 1.3. Not particularly heavy, so you got loaded pretty quick, even though I did have to sign in and get one of these silly visitor passes and all that stuff, and when you're just picking up and dropping off, it seems a bit excessive to me. Yeah, and then obviously, yes, I got down here quick, sharp, not speeding, but pushing it a bit, keeping up with traffic in the fast lane. So I got down here 1 o'clock, turned up, yeah, I got obviously unloaded really quick because they're waiting for me kind of thing, but it was like a yoghurt manufacturer I've heard of. I've seen this brand in supermarkets. I won't say who it was, but yeah, I think it was like a stores for one of these places. It didn't really seem like there was too much going on there. Yeah, so every time I see that yogurt's in the supermarket now, I'll think of that job I did. Yeah, so that was a decent job to start the day. Good to get going early on, 9ish, rather than waiting till late morning. So I got down here, well, I've tipped in one in Cheddar. So Cheddar, Somerset was a tip. And then I've driven about 8 miles to get back to Weston-super-Mare. So I'm Morrison's Weston-super-Mare, not far from the M5 now. So from here, I'm thinking I can get jobs Bristol, this end of Bristol was in range, Weston-super-Mare, Bridgewater, and if I need to go back to Cheddar, if any jobs come up there, because I noticed a few do when I was down here the other day. But it seems it's pretty quiet. It's a Thursday now, getting towards the end of the week, and I hoping Thursday sort of pick up, Friday being the busiest day. But I think there's more coming up on the other side of the Severn Estuary. So obviously my radius takes in South Wales here, but obviously I can't get this done very quickly because I have to go Bristol over the bridge and things, so they're not really doable. Yeah, I was just thinking about like when I first went back on a CX, it was on Gloucester Bristol way, there was far more coming through on a feed than there is today. So maybe, you know, after lockdown things were kind of getting going again, places, lots of stuff wasn't where it normally should be because of things weren't running as they should. So maybe there was that initial need for urgent and same day, and it's kind of died down a bit now when places have kind of got back into the swing of things, but probably just a bit quieter because of COVID. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. Don't know what anyone else thinks. What do you think? Do you think it's gone a bit quieter since that initial post lockdown level of business, I'll call it? Interested to know what anyone else thinks. So yeah, that's it now. So I'm hoping to get another job. Really want to make a target today, 200 quid, so I need like a 40 quid, 45 quid job. Hopefully get something a bit better, but that's Thursday so far. Alright, excuse me. Thursday evening now, Thursday night, 10:10. Yeah, so shortly after I filmed the last bit, I'd already set my home location to Bristol, thinking, see what jobs are available for the morning. Yeah, and about 20 to 4, job pinged up in Cardiff, and I was like, yeah, sort of Weston-super-Mare, so about 50 miles from Cardiff, but it was a short wheelbase job going from Cardiff to Wigan in the morning, picking up at 9, bit of handball involved, so I thought it's worth putting a price in. So I worked out all the miles, 197 loaded, plus getting there, which is about 50 miles, priced at 70 pence a mile, thinking unlikely to get it, but if you don't bid, you're definitely not going to get it. So yeah, I went in at 173, it worked out at, and got it. So yeah, that was me sort of committed to not going too far from Cardiff. So stayed around there in Weston-super-Mare until about 5:30, thinking you never know, a small job might come up going to Bristol at least, or maybe going to South Wales, and that would get me there closer to tomorrow's pickup. But yeah, it didn't happen to about 5:30, so I trundled 56 mile an hour along the motorways over the bridge. So it was nice to go over the bridge, nice view, the 7 Street, and then got to Cardiff, parked up. I was going to go for a run. It wasn't supposed to be raining again, but it was. The forecast wasn't a no rain, so I still haven't used my new running shoes. Yeah, and then I sat there until about 7:30. I was just thinking, right, go around the corner and get McDonald's, and then a job pinged up, small van job, Bridgend, back to Cardiff. And it's 17 miles to Bridgend, and it was like 22 miles, 23 miles loaded, so 40 mile load, 40 mile round trip. So I thought, it's a small van job, so I'll go in at 35. So it worked out, yeah, just under £1 a mile. Very little pinged up this time of night, and it kind of, that extra 35 quid with the 153 it was earlier, 157, got my day up to 192. So I'm just short of my 200 quid target, because I've still not met the target once so far this week, and that's 3 days in. So that all just helps, so I got it off by, I was done by 9. Picking up from a control systems company, who have also got a depot in a smaller unit in West Midlands, who I've picked up from before for the same shipper. I think this was their main depot down here, the main factory or whatever. It's going to a steelworks in Cardiff, where they make rebar and coils of wire, proper heavy industry site. I think the guy I had to hand it to, I think he was a Sparky, an electrician. Obviously something to fit for him tonight on night shift. Yeah, and then come back to where I was before, which is just around the corner from tomorrow morning's pickup. There's a Tesco here, there's a McDonald's here where I've just been, so I'm going to tramp down a side road, so I don't know any parking restriction there. I'm going to go and check it out. Tramp there, and then in the morning I can get my meal deal before I do the pickup. Probably get myself a coffee from McDonald's, so it's not picking up till 9. So yeah, that's Thursday. Definitely done. Hello, yeah, in slow moving traffic heading south on the M6, so thought I'd get this film now. I don't normally film when I'm driving unless it's really slow traffic. Yeah, so this morning, obviously stopped in Cardiff, just around the corner from this morning's pickup. By that McDonald's and Tesco, so got my coffee and then got my meal deal for the day. So I was all set for the day food wise. A pickup, I think I mentioned on yesterday's thing, it was said in the notes, handballing of 100 boxes. So it was 173 quid for the job, and it was 197 miles, short wheelbase job. So you can work it out, it's quite a high. What I did is I priced it from when I was in Weston-super-Mare, getting to the pickup and all the way through at 70 pence a mile. was quite surprised I got it really. When I turned up, yeah, pickup was at a residential address, and it took 10 minutes because the guy there who's booked in for the wife who lives there, but her husband brought all her stuff to the van. I just had to stack it in the van, so that worked out pretty well. It should have been a 3.5 hour drive up to Wigan. Turned into just over 4 hour drive because of traffic. I stood still on the M5 for about 10 minutes. Move in here. Lane closed. Yeah, so I stood still on the M5 for about 10-15 minutes. Then while I was, I bid on another job, which was a small van job from Liverpool down to central London, and it's at WC1H postcode, and I kind of know that, and the small van job's going there. It's just off the Euston Road. It's this lab, so I was pretty confident what that was, so I put a bid on for that while we sat still. 163 was it? No, 169 I bid for that, but because I knew the loaded miles distance, but I had to kind of guess how far it was going to be from Wigan to Liverpool. I guessed it about right in the end, so it's worked out about 69 pence a mile, loaded and unloaded, so I got that job, obviously. This morning's job, yeah, I got to the tipping point. I was cutting it a bit tight by then because of all these delays to get to the second job. Got in easy enough, and then I took longer to handball off that end because they're supposed to be helping me. Well, that's what it said in the details, only handball at pickup. As I handball them off onto 2 pallets, didn't take long and then the foreman was having a bit of a go at one of his workers there, so I had to wait. He says, "Oh, I'll be with you in a minute, mate," and then he started bollocking one of his workers, and I was just stood there waiting for like 10 minutes thinking I gotta get going here, just pushing it to get to the next one. And then some other guy who worked there came over and I said, "Here mate, can you just sign that?" Going to sign it, and I just disappeared. I don't know whether the boss would have wanted to do it himself, but he was just kind of keep me waiting for some daft reason really. So I just got going, and I got to Liverpool 5 minutes to spare. It was Liverpool docks again, but south of the dock I was in the other day, and it was just a government COVID testing facility. So one of the docks I don't think's in use. They're just using like the big concrete yard outside. Right, mess that car. Oh dear. It's a bit of a write-off, I think. Anyway, yeah, so I'll update later about the second job. Here we go. Second job update. Yeah, so it's quite a straightforward pickup from that place in Liverpool. It's only 5 samples, and the guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, there was supposed to be 6, but one guy didn't turn up." And I was picking up at 2:30, so I got me thinking, is that, is one of these drive-in COVID tests in Liverpool, obviously a major city? Sure, there's more than 5 for the whole day, but I don't know, maybe some other couriers went earlier on, I don't know. They did mention, no, we got 30 coming on Monday, but even 30 for the whole day, it's not a lot really. All these people stood around and all this, areas are hiring and stuff, it's all taxpayers' money. Surely there's more going through than that. When you hear on the radio people are struggling to get them local, but anyway, sure there's more to it than that. Oversimplifying. Yeah, so it turned out to be like a 5-hour drive down here, and I thought it would be. It says I think it's 4 hours if there's no traffic and stuff. Obviously had that incident on the M6, so there's a bit the other side, and then the A40 coming into London was quite busy. Dropping off the Euston Road, so it's like the one I did, exactly the same place I did a few weeks ago from the care home in a Wirral. I dropped in Birmingham first, and then I came down here. It's the same place, same guy I dropped off to. I recognise his name. It's down as a ULEZ job, but you just park the other side of Euston Road and then walk across. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Got that off. It's about 8:15 then, and I haven't had any tea, so I checked the feed. There's some jobs, so I managed to get a job. Worked out quite well in the end, so I was expecting possibly to have dead miles, 130 miles back home to the Midlands, but I managed to pick up a job. It's not picking up till tomorrow morning, so I'm still on the run. Friday night, another night in the van, Obviously I didn't work Monday, so it's the fourth night in the back of the van. Yeah, so this is picking up in Slough, SL0 Ivor, I think the place is called IV. It looks like it's picking up some sort of building materials, specialist building materials. Got dropped two packages off on the way, just off the route in the courier company's depot. Apparently these are going, them 2 packages are going to France on Monday, to Calais. And then the remaining 9 or something I've got to take through to Lutterworth, which is by Coventry, which is really good because Coventry's not far from me. So yeah, that'll get me home. So I really wanted this job, so because otherwise I'd be dead miles. I didn't really know spend a night here with no job in the morning, but I'm pretty knackered because I've done 457 miles today, pretty much on the go since 9 o'clock. I'm starting to feel it obviously towards the end of the week. Yeah, so got that job booked in. It's kind of like paying for me to get home pretty much. I should be home by 11. Well, I'll be finished the job by 11 and home before 12, so that's all right. I can live with that. Yeah, so that's about it for Friday. So I've moved towards Slough. I've parked in my usual spot, which I've got south of Heathrow. Been to my usual Chinese. Had a house special boiled rice this time because eating too much fried food this week. So I've had that. Let's say it's 10:15 now. I'll get the van ready here when it stops raining quite so hard. I'm going to roll around the corner and hope there's a parking spot on my usual space, and then yeah, get that done tomorrow, and then I can enjoy my weekend. But yeah, really good earnings day today, so I'll do more in a semi about that. But I think it's my best day ever takings wise, which will make up for the crap start to the week. So that's Friday done. Hello, so time for Sunday summary as usual. Yep, so as I normally do, all these figures are before VAT, so that will be added on top, and these are just my takings for the week, not my earnings as I sometimes call them. They're definitely takings, so they're pre-costs and then pre-tax, income tax, national insurance, all that stuff, because I'm sole trader, self-employed. So this is week commencing Tuesday the 29th. I didn't work the Monday because obviously, as you've seen in the video, van's in for service. So Tuesday, first job was £93, then I had a cancelled job which was £20. I normally charge 25, but it wasn't long, so I charged them 20. And then Tuesday, last job was £30. So that came to 143 for the Tuesday. Wednesday, one job for £134, which was the lowest takings day. Thursday, 157 plus 35, so 2 jobs, 192 taken for that day. And then Friday was, first job was £173, and the second job was £169. And that gave me my best takings for the week, and I think it's the best takings day ever before, definitely the best takings day before since lockdown. I had some £300 plus days before lockdown, but I don't think they were quite as high as 342. So that was a really good day, made up for the slow start to the week. The Tuesday, Wednesday were a bit low. Yeah, lowest paying job for the week, not including cancellations, £30. The biggest job was at £173. That was Cardiff to Wigan. We've supposedly had loads of handballing, but didn't in the end, so it turned out to be a good job. So they're the 4 full days I worked, which came to £811, which is an average of £202.75 a day. The Saturday job was obviously £70. That wasn't a full day's job working, so I can't really include that in the average. Once you add that 70 on, it's obviously total for the week £881, which I'm quite happy with. Mileage, obviously I didn't work the Monday, and I stopped down on a Friday night just to make sure I didn't have dead miles on the way back. So total mileage was from leaving here on the Tuesday to getting back late Sunday well, it was about Saturday midday actually by the time I driven back from Letterworth. Was at 1,335 miles. So pence per mile loaded and unloaded, covering all them miles, 67 pence a mile, which is okay. As long as it's 65 or higher, I'm generally happy. I want to try and get it more towards 70 at least, really. Yeah, so that was my takings for the week. So yeah, like I say, slow start to the week, but then last 2 days were pretty good. Thursday was nearly 200, and Friday was well in excess of 300. So yeah, very much a up and down kind of week. Obviously interested in get the van serviced and all that stuff, and learn about tyre wear and how my tyres wearing and stuff, and some projected costs there. So that's it for this week. I've got a job lined up for tomorrow morning, but more in that next week's vlog. So as ever, any comments you've got on what I've come across in my vlog this week, in my travels, whether I've mentioned it at the time, I'm always looking for tips. Like I said, I'm really new to this myself. Anything you can put below, that'll help me or anyone else who watches this channel, watches the videos. So that's another week done. Thanks for watching.